Alright, welcome back to Nick in China. It's May holiday here and it is hot as hell. It's actually the sun's just going down, but it touched 37 degrees today. It's the hottest May holiday in 20 years in Xi'an. Brutal. Anyway, today what I want to talk about is safety. There's a lot of stories about, I guess, foreigners being treated unfairly and things in China. So I'm just going to give my experience throughout this whole situation, like during lockdown and obviously now afterwards, and give my views. So firstly, I've been in China for a long time, 10 years, and China's a pretty safe country, It has its own dangers, I suppose, different to the UK. I mean, I suppose there's, especially in Xi'an, maybe there's a chance of being pickpocketed. It's probably higher than the UK. But other than that, safety-wise, it's an incredibly safe country. You never feel any danger, really, and all the time I've been here, which is great. Touch wood, that stays the same, obviously. So it is a safe place. So when the lockdown came in China, that was back in January, and no one really knew kind of how serious this thing was going to be, obviously, and around the world no one else really gave a damn at that point. We all went into lockdown, and people were pretty chilled here in Xi'an about it anyway. Kind of took it well and were pretty responsible about things, and I never got any kind of negative feeling towards myself. In fact, there was kind of a bit more of a community spirit. A lot of people saying hello to me because the streets were quiet, a bit more like village life. It was kind of weird, not like living in a city at all. I mean, obviously being a foreigner, Lao Wai, as they say in China, and especially in a city like Xi'an. I'm not in Beijing or Shanghai because they're quite international cities. Xi'an isn't. It gets a lot of tourists, obviously, for the terracotta warriors, but other than that, there's not a lot of foreigners who actually live here. So you do kind of stand out, I stand out, of course I do. Got massive hair, but and therefore you do get noticed a bit, and I suppose that can kind of intimidate some people, maybe, especially if you people are staring at you and calling you a foreigner. It's something that doesn't usually bother me that much. Just kind of take it in my stride, but I understand it can annoy some people, but I never got any kind of negative feeling. So that was that was during lockdown, which was I actually felt quite good about things. If you see my early videos, I was kind of optimistic and positive about things mainly. And then there was about 5 weeks ago, and it felt like it was going to get a bit weird. So basically, it was when domestic cases had almost really slowed down a lot here, and most of the new cases coming in were we're calling like imported cases. Essentially, it was people coming back from abroad into China, obviously. And I think that was maybe misconstrued by some people, in that it was foreigners coming back into China bringing the virus. Actually, foreigners have been not allowed to come into China for ages now. I don't know, 6-7 weeks. So basically, there was a few days where I felt like things were getting a bit weird. I had a few days where taxis would slow down, see me, and then drive off and not pick me up. And I was a bit worried about it for a little while. And then there was a few other reports of maybe some foreigners were not being allowed on the subway or into some shopping malls and stuff like that. I never experienced that, luckily, and apparently now that's whatever problem that was with the subway is now resolved. But it felt a bit weird for a while. But I don't really know what happened. It just, for me personally, again, I'm talking about myself, obviously, in Xi'an. I'm not talking about everyone's experience all over China. If people have suffered some serious discrimination, obviously that's horrible. It's happening all over the world, unfortunately. Things just got better for me, I think, and a lot of my friends are saying the same thing. I don't know, people just kind of, I think maybe just realised that if you're a foreigner and you're walking around in China now, you must have been here for at least 6 weeks, I suppose. Obviously I've been here for months. And I think people seem pretty chill now. There's a few things that are weird. Obviously you can see I'm still wearing a mask. Most people are still wearing a mask, but a lot of people are not, especially up here on the city wall. For me personally, as a foreigner, I will keep wearing my mask as long as I need to, I think, until everyone stopped wearing them. Just because I have this feeling that if I walk around without a mask on, all it's going to take is a few photos from someone who's not very nice to maybe give us Laowai foreigners living in China a bad name, like we don't wear masks. I hope that wouldn't happen, but you never know. So I'm going to be safe about things and keep this horrible thing on. God, it's tough to breathe in this heat, really. So I guess like my overall feeling living in China throughout this has been actually mostly a kind of a positive one. Positive in, you know, in the sense that, I mean, there's nothing good about the situation, of course, but the way I've been treated, I think, has been quite nice by people, you know, which is, it's kind of made me feel pretty good about things. I've been here for a long time, and I think as weird as this situation is, the coronavirus pandemic, it's kind of given me a pretty positive view of community in China. I think being a foreigner here, you never really, you always stand out, like I said before, you know, you stand out, and therefore you're different. And I think you could live here for 50 years as a foreigner, and you never really, you're always going to be the Laowai, you're always going to be the foreigner, regardless, right? But I think throughout this, I feel kind of more, I don't know, a bit more love for the country than I think I have in the previous 10 years, if that makes sense. It's a bit weird. Overall, again, do remember I'm talking about my experience and Xi'an, you know, which is the city I live in and I know well and I love. Obviously there are different parts of China, it's a big country, but I've been very happy with everything going on here. It's given me a good vibe. Still worried about what's going on in the rest of the world. There's so much hatred, and I think this is kind of what spurred me to make this video, to be honest. If you look at some media and some governments, it's just pure hate towards whoever, towards China or the WHO or whoever's there to blame, which in my opinion's ridiculous, but there you go. It's just how it is. I mean, people are looking for things to blame all the time and not actually taking any responsibility. And the problem with that is it really leads to the situation we have now in the world, which is unfortunately a lot of deaths and a lot of sick people. Sad times. Right, the sun is really going down now and I need a pint because I am boiling hot. Check this out. So I'm gonna do a history travel video in a couple of days. Can't believe it. I'm quite excited about it, to be honest. So keep your eye out for that one. It's gonna be a non-coronavirus related video. Although I'll probably still be wearing a mask, but you know, what can you do? Stay safe, everyone around the world, and yeah, look after each other. Think about the community. That's kind of what I've been thinking about. It's what made me think about this video, how I've been treated as part of the community here in China. I've been talking to a lot of people back in the UK, and you know, a lot of people telling me about community things, like people coming together and helping each other. I like that. I like it. Maybe it's some positive we can get from this otherwise crap situation and year we're in. It would be nice if people start to care a little bit more about each other. Stop being so self-centered. It's my hippie speech. Stay safe, everyone. Stay indoors. Look after yourselves. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.